I'm Amber Davies and welcome to Call to Stage. This is the space where musical theatre takes centre stage. From unforgettable backstage stories with incredible special guests to insights from my life and my theatre journey. We're leaving it all on the mic every single week, so let's jump in. Hi guys, welcome back to Call to Stage with me, Amber Davies. Now, I have one of the most beautiful women sitting next to me. She is a woman that does not stop. It's the wonderful Georgina Onuorah.
Hi guys!
I love that. Would like to go as G.
Yeah,
all your friends
everyone
calls
me G. Like literally everyone calls me G. I say Georgina like once.
Okay, or like if you're misbehaving, your mum will call you Georgina.
Yeah, Georgina. So that feels like scary.
Heavy.
You know?
Heavy. Okay, we're going to go with G. Right, I ask every guest this before we fully start, and that is pick any role you've ever played. There's quite a few. What's your pre-show ritual?
Okay, my pre-show ritual is basically, like I love a warm-up, but I like a really scattered warm-up. So basically my warm-up is like playing songs I really like.
Okay.
And singing so full out. I always leave my door open as well, so everyone can hear me singing. But I don't know what it is. Like the theory of it in my head is that like, if I really love the song, my voice is just going to go exactly where it wants to go.
And it's going to get warm.
Yes, it's going to get warm.
And what would your go-to song be?
Oh, maybe like, you got to show me love.
Oh, really?
But I'll be singing like full out.
Okay. I love that. So pick a song, any song that you love, and you sing it full beans.
Sing it full beans.
And then you know,
body.
and then you know your voice is there.
Yeah, I feel warm, feel ready, buzzy.
I love that. Now, I read somewhere, right? You were convinced by someone from your hometown to audition for drama school.
Yeah.
So please explain this to me.
Yeah, my journey, it was quite a wiggly journey. So
we've got time. Let's do it.
We've got time.
Let's unpack.
So I was at normal sixth form, like doing my A-levels. I'd always sung with my sister, my little sister, but I just didn't know people did acting as a job.
Okay.
So I did one summer where I went to NYMT.
Yes.
Which is like a musical theatre summer school.
Love it.
And I just loved it so much. And there was a girl there called Jade who was actually from my hometown. Like she was from nearby Luton.
Yeah.
There's a school in Hitchin she went to, and she was like, you need to go to the school. And I was like, my mum will say N-O.
Okay.
N-O. She just definitely won't let me.
Okay.
We don't know anything about the industry. So she was just like, there's no way. So anyway, I come back from summer school and we meet the principal. It's called Emile Dale Academy in Hitchin. And he basically went, bring your mum in. And I don't know what he said, but he spoke to her for half an hour and she was crying and she was like,
oh my
you
God.
have to go, Georgie. So that was my journey. I did that so I did one more year there, finished my sixth form and then went to Arts Ed.
Yes. And you went to Arts Ed and you were awarded the Andrew Lloyd Webber Foundation Scholarship.
Yeah, I felt really, really blessed because there wouldn't have been any way I could pay for drama school otherwise. My mum's a single mum.
I just find it crazy that you were not even considering audition and then you went on to win the Andrew Lloyd Webber Scholarship. Like this was meant for you.
I know. I think it really was meant to be. But honestly, there's so many barriers to performing, I think, sometimes.
There is. And it's so expensive. Like I always say, like, if I hadn't have got my dad out, there was no physical. I'm from a small town in Wales, you know.
Yeah.
So is my sister. Like there is no way we could have got.
Just no way at all. That's why like now I'm really, really passionate about representation and trying to go back home and tell people like you can do it. Like there are ways to try and make it work. Because if it wasn't for that, I'd be doing like sociology.
Yeah, really? Would you?
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah.
I think I'd be a midwife.
Really?
Probably.
I love that.
I love that for us.
I love that for us.
Maybe in another life. So for me, I just find it so healthy to have these conversations. Like you had no idea that this was an industry that you could pursue.
Yeah, I really just didn't know people did it as a professional job.
Like when was the first time you saw a West End show?
I saw my first ever show was Lion King.
Oh.
My auntie took me and I thought, wow, that's amazing. But even still, the divide between watching and imagining yourself up there was still really like, couldn't be me.
Yeah. Felt like it really wasn't in touchable distance.
Yes. Because even like, you know, you make a big trip up to London, like it feels really like far away.
Yeah. And I feel like when you are in the right circle, you speak to the right people, and you have access to information. That's why I started this podcast. You know, you realise like there is a way for absolutely everyone.
Completely agree.
Did you enjoy Arts Ed?
I loved it. I loved it. I learned so much about myself. Obviously, we're all so young. I was like 17, moving away from home for the first time. So I learned a lot about myself, really just as a human.
Yeah.
Besides learning the art. I was like, oh, I'm living on my own. I've not done this before.
Arts Ed, they say, is very good at all three. They focus a lot on everything.
Yeah, they're pretty even. We have like 2 singing lessons a week, acting classes every week, lots of dance classes every week. So they want you to leave just feeling confident with all 3.
Yeah.
And not scared to do anything.
No. And obviously you were in a very unfortunate position because you graduated into COVID.
Oh my gosh. It was so crazy. It was just so unprecedented. Like we just had no clue what was going on. On our last day, we actually all said, bye, see you in 2 weeks probably, because it just started. We'd basically done our 3rd year show.
Yeah.
I was in the Wild Party. And then we'd done Showcase. And this COVID thing was kind of being said, little whispers. And we thought, maybe we'll be off for 2 weeks and then see you in a bit, get a bit extra holiday. And I never was back to school.
Never?
Nope.
Oh my gosh. That is like so sad.
Yeah. So it really didn't, that chapter didn't really have a
closure
at all, no.
Oh my gosh. Like all of those friendships you made, like college friends are so important, aren't they? And the teachers that have taught you that, oh my gosh.
It was like a big journey not finishing, but obviously everyone who graduated in 2020, I think we all just became like a community.
Yeah.
Because everyone just was trying to support each other because those days were hard. Like,
I actually remember being in COVID, and at that point I'd only done one professional job. And I remember thinking to myself, obviously I've been there before, I've been a grad, and how hard that like first year is after graduating. I just remember thinking, those poor graduates. Like,
it was weird, you know, like you leave and you're like, I'm so ready to start, ready to audition. And basically the industry was just absolutely silent. Like nothing was happening. So you were just ready with nowhere to go.
And then the thing is really things didn't start opening again until about a year after, before the whole Omicron shutdown part 2.
Yeah.
Where you all had another set of graduates.
That's the thing. A whole new set of people came out. I know. And do you know what? I actually like send my heart to them more so because it actually affected their training.
I know.
I felt like we were really lucky because we'd finished.
Yeah.
I got everything I needed from it.
Yeah.
We didn't get to say goodbye, which was sad, but we'd finished training. Whereas for lots of them, their whole 3rd year was on Zoom. Or even the year before that, literally doing 2 years on Zoom, which is just really difficult.
It is. And like really like unfortunately robbed of their
experience at drama school and moving away from home and stuff like that.
Because my boyfriend Ben, he did his last year on Zoom. Yeah, showcases.
It's actually insane.
I know.
It's just not the same thing.
It's not. It
can't be.
But COVID really didn't hold you back at all, did it?
I was really lucky.
She's flourished. Let's talk about it then. So your first job was actually cancelled.
Yeah. So the very first job I booked, I was meant to do Sunday in the Park with George.
Iconic.
Oh my God. I was just like screaming. It was just going to be the most exciting job ever. I was going to play Celeste. There's 2 of us, friends called Celeste and Celeste. I was going to play Celeste. As time passed, I was like, this show isn't going to happen, is it? And then it got officially cancelled. It was like heart-wrenching, heartbreaking. But then I was really lucky. And I had an audition for the National, wanted to do a pantomime. They've never done a pantomime before. And it was Dick Whittington. And I had an audition for Alice Fitzwarren. I was really nervous, obviously, because I was it's the National.
Just
God.
You know, let's just casually first gig the National.
I was like, I haven't got enough experience for the National. This is really scary.
I'm a COVID queen.
I'm a COVID queen, please. I've never worked. But honestly, they were so nice, and I just did what I could in the audition, and then that's my first gig.
And what you could do was absolutely good enough.
Oh God, exactly. I think it's just like getting used to auditioning and actually just being like, I've just got to be myself.
I know.
That's all I can do.
Yeah, I know it's hard. Do you suffer with nerves?
No. Do you know what? I feel like at drama school, I kind of just changed my mindset about things like this. And I just go, if I'm nervous, I'm only going to do worse.
Yeah.
So let me just pretend I'm just so excited. So I'm not saying I don't feel the charge sometimes or my heart beating or like, oh, sweaty, but I'm like, it's because I'm so excited. I think I've just tricked myself enough that it does actually make sense to me now.
That is a lot of mind strength, you know, because it is the same chemical in your brain.
Well, that's what I read. That's really what I read. And I was like, Oh, so I can just decide. I'm excited.
Which one?
Yeah.
That's really powerful.
Yeah.
I cannot do that.
It's so hard, isn't it, though? It's way easier said than done. But nerves, it just holds you back. Sometimes I'm just like,
I know.
there's nothing more I can do. As long as I've prepared,
Yeah.
there's literally nothing else I can do.
So with Dick Whittington.
Dick Whittington, yeah.
Sorry, I got something on my mind. All right, with the show at the National, you only did 4 shows.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Let's talk about that. All that hard work, all that rehearsal time, just to do 4 shows.
It was heartbreaking. Basically, it was like tier 4. Do you remember when we were like all back and forth?
Yes.
And tier 4 basically closed our show. We did 4 shows, and then actually the 4th show we got to film. I think they knew that it was about to happen. So they brought all the cameras in and filmed it for NT Live. So we filmed that last performance, but it's not available anymore because obviously, with Pantos, it's lots of popular music.
Yes.
So I think the licensing is a bit crazy.
Okay, got you.
For that to be on there for the whole time.
Have you got it?
An A. I've got clips. Got clips somewhere. Got bootlegs.
Can we have them? So how, honestly, as a grad, you've come out, your first job's been cancelled, but you booked it. So there's an achievement in that anyway, like, wow, I'm proud of myself for booking that job.
And like, if I can book one, I can
do
it again.
Yeah.
I can do it again.
You then go on to book the National, 4 shows. Was there any point where you just thought, is this ever going to stop, Well,
I think, with our industry, you don't really know what's ahead of you.
Yeah.
So every time I book a job, I kind of imagine, not it's the last one, but I just take it for what it is. And like, who knows what will be next? You might not work for 2 years. Like, we're really not in control of our own careers in that way. So I feel like it didn't even cross my mind.
Oh my gosh, you're such a happy, positive person.
I think you just got to. It can be such a hard gig if you beat yourself up.
I know. Or if you worry.
Yeah.
Why worry twice?
Yeah.
And then you went on to do Bad Cinderella.
Yes.
And you were alternate Cinderella.
Yeah, I was.
And I saw you as Cinderella.
Are you serious?
Yes, I saw you.
That's so crazy because I didn't do that many shows.
You were amazing.
Thank you.
Literally amazing. I came to watch Georgina Castle.
Mm-hmm.
And because I've worked with her before.
George.
And I didn't know who I was getting, but I saw you and I was like, she is insane.
Thank you so much.
And you were just so natural, and it was just like, it was funny. I really loved it. I know there was a lot of different reviews, which obviously theatre is
subjective, isn't it?
Yeah, subjective completely. I loved it. I thought it was really funny. I thought the twist at the end was fabulous.
Yes.
I loved it.
I think it's fun. It was playful.
Yeah.
And like the cast, oh my God, they were gems. Like Georgina Castle, Laura Baldwin. We were all in the room together.
Oh,
Me,
I love
George,
that.
Laura. It was just like
Georgia Tapp.
Georgia Tapp. Yeah.
She's adorable.
We got the same birthday. Did you know that?
Did you? Have
Me and
you?
Georgia, yeah. 7th of Jan.
7th of Jan.
Yeah.
Aquarius.
Capricorn. That job was amazing. It was.
And how did it feel to be in something long running?
Obviously, it was really early on in my career.
Yeah.
So I learned so much on that job.
Yeah.
And that's why it was amazing. It was like 1 whole year of learning. But also a year is actually quite intense. It can be quite intense to keep it fresh. And you really learn that skill of having to like keep the work alive, keep the words alive and not get into autopilot. So.
And as an alternate, did you have secured shows a week?
Yeah. So I had an ensemble track.
Yeah.
And then I had 2 shows a week.
Oh, beautiful.
It was really, really great. Yeah.
So you actually had like a very like smooth transition into what would it be like to lead a show? Like you had a taste of it.
And I got to like watch and like learn from the people who were leading it and like learn from Carrie and how to lead a company and just how they do it 8 shows a week. Like I got to watch rather than be thrown in and have to do it straight away.
But sometimes you can learn a lot from that.
Yeah.
I'm going to do 2. But you can also imagine what it's like.
Yeah. So I got a little taste of it every week. I loved it.
And did you actually enjoy the contract?
Yeah. I mean, do you know what? It really wasn't black and white. I think obviously it was really a hard time to make theatre at that time. We were on one of the only shows, I think, who were working at one point, who were open. But because of that, we were all just so grateful to be in a room, be in a space. The people were so, so amazing.
Yeah.
And I learned a great deal.
Yeah. And then you went on to do millennials at the other palace. Do you know what I'm so intrigued to know is how going from such a big space to such a small space.
Yeah.
And the intimacy of the audience is so different.
It's so you feel like the audience are literally in your back pocket.
Yeah.
Which is really funny. At first, it's really disconcerting. You're like, because there's nowhere to hide.
Vulnerable.
At all. You're so vulnerable. But that's why that show was so fun, because it's just so intimate. I feel like I could see every single person in the audience. You knew who was back. You knew who was here every week. You'd be like, hey.
And I feel like you have to alter your performance.
Completely.
For the different sizes of audiences.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot more like intense the smaller, I think, personally.
Because they can just see every single thing you do. Like, you know, when you're on a massive stage, I don't know, if there is, I don't know, say you dribble, you can probably wipe it away and the circle probably didn't see you do it.
Yeah.
That intimately, they can see every bead of sweat on your head. Which is actually really cool, because it just feels like they're on stage with you.
And they're like part of the show.
Yeah, they're completely part of it.
Do you prefer bigger audiences or smaller audiences? Or have you not got a preference?
I feel like I love both. They feel really different.
Yeah.
They just feel so completely different. It feels like, you know, sometimes on a big stage, it feels like, you know, you've got to reach beyond. It takes a lot more energy, I think.
It does. Yeah. You're so right.
Yeah. Whereas a smaller, intimate venue, it's small. Like, you don't need to push out because they're kind of coming to you.
Yeah.
So just they feel completely different.
I love that. That's why I love like talking about the different theatres that we work in, because like I'm on tour at the minute, and one of the like highlights for me of being on tour is the different venues.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And the different stages and like how far away the audiences are like every other week. Like you really have to adapt your performance.
Adapt your performance.
I feel like I've learned so much from that. And then you went on to play Ado Annie in Oklahoma, which is an Olivier-award winning show.
Yes.
And I read somewhere, because I am living for this quote that I read you once said, you felt like Beyonce singing I Can't Say No. I have this vision in my head of you just like with a fan, just flicking your hair.
Flicking my hair. Honestly, I mean, it wasn't far from that at all. Like I had like a mic. I was like swinging it round. I was strutting up and down the stage. I got to climb into the audience.
Oh my gosh, I didn't see it.
It was so wild. It was so wild. I loved it. I loved every second.
Well, like, explain to me how much, because you said in another quote, the importance of a black actress playing that specific role.
Yeah, I think like a lot of my career has been getting to play parts where I definitely wouldn't have seen myself play them.
Yeah.
And I don't think like historically they've ever been played by someone who looks like me in lots of ways. And I think it's just nice for roles to be reimagined. And also, you know, I don't think any role is about skin color. I'm like, oh, it should be black, it should be white, Asian, anything. But we all bring such different, unique things to it. So it just felt like I really got the reins to reimagine it.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like within your career, you've really set an incredible example for young black performers.
No, I've been really lucky, like, especially like with Wizard of Oz at stage door, like I'd get so many little girls come up to me and like in little Dorothy dresses. They'd give me like ribbons and go, look, I've got one in my hair. I look just like you. And that's just, to me, what it's all for.
Yeah.
Completely.
Well, going on to Dorothy then, Palladium.
It's crazy. Like I actually can't believe I've been there.
Palladium gal.
It's such an insane venue. Like you just can feel how iconic it is.
It's like on my bucket list to play there, but you know, I've actually never even been there.
Oh, really?
I've never even seen anything at the Palladium.
Really?
Yeah.
You have to go.
I know.
Even in the audience, you feel like, oh my God, I'm part of something crazy.
Crazy.
It's huge.
So how was that, being Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz at the Palladium? That holds so much weight, doesn't it?
Everything about it. Like, honestly, like my dressing room was a Judy Garland room.
Oh my God.
And I just thought, when I'm singing Over the Rainbow, she has literally sung it standing here. It's just beyond anything. Every night I'd just be like, what the heck?
Hell, little you would never, ever, ever imagine when you went to watch Lion King with your auntie.
Never, ever. So that job was really short as well. So every single show I was just like, let me absorb this feeling.
Yeah. How long did you do it for?
It was a 10-week run in town.
Kind of like that though.
It was just, there's just no time to feel any tiredness or any, it was just like, 10 weeks.
It's just gratitude.
Exactly.
I love that. I love that so much. And how long was the rehearsal process for that?
I think we had about 5 or 6 weeks. I mean, we had done it in Leicester before. It was a different company, but the framework of what we wanted to do with our Wizard of Oz, we kind of built in Leicester. So the town process was easier because we knew what we were trying to create, and like the set was already done. Like Glinda had like a pink motorbike.
Oh my
God. We made it quite funky. It was really cool.
Very 2023.
Yeah.
And you know when your agent called you and said they want to see you as Dorothy? Like what actually went through your mind?
Well, do you know what's so funny? The first thing I thought was when that Dorothy program was on TV, I used to literally cry to my mum. Like literally cry to my mum going, I want to be on it. And I think I was like 8 or 9. So I literally said to my agent, this is my dream. This is my actual dream. Just being in for it, I was like, my dream, tick, fine.
This is good enough for me.
Just
being in the room.
Being in the room, singing over the rainbow, good enough for me.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And then everybody knows who listens to this podcast, Hamilton's my favourite show of all time.
God.
I would be sound number 3 for free on that show.
It's literally the best. I think it's literally one of the best shows in the West End.
I just can't believe you played Angelica in Hamilton.
I actually still can't believe it. It feels like a fever dream. So I was only there for 2.5 months.
But were they just the best?
It literally was the best 2.5 months of my life. It was an actual fever dream. Near the end, I was doubling up with Kiss Me Kate. So I was so exhausted, but still I was just like, I'm in Hamilton.
That is wild.
Yeah.
And you did it with Shan.
Yes.
Aiko.
I love her so much. And actually, we'd done a workshop a couple of years ago and we've been sisters before.
Oh my gosh. It was like always meant to be.
Yeah. And Ava, who I did the maternity cover for, she was our mum in that workshop.
Oh my gosh. I've got goosebumps.
All connected.
Like you were always meant to cross paths.
Yeah, it was meant to happen.
How intense was it, or thrilling, or whatever word you want to use, to sing the Angelica track? Was it hard work?
Yeah, I mean, that is not a track that you can just breeze through. Like Satisfied is right near the start of the show, really. It's not even in Act 2, it's in Act 1. And she just goes guns blazing from the start. There's no way to ease into that song. And my rehearsal process was so funny working on it. Because of the way I was entering the company, I was rehearsed on my own.
Oh my gosh.
So I was literally on my own in rehearsals.
Oh my God. You are a superwoman.
It was so crazy. It was insane. But yeah, every show just felt like a gift because I knew it was short as well.
I know. Do you ever think the door...
Definitely. I'll definitely go back to Hamilton at some point. I feel like I had to run with it. Like, you've let me do it for 2.5 months. This is amazing. Thank you so much. Let me run with it. And then I had Kiss Me Kate right after, I felt really blessed. But I'd love to come back at some point.
I mean, it's written in the stars, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you mentioned that you were doubling up.
Yeah.
So explain to our listeners what doubling up actually means.
Yeah. So doubling up, like double duty, as some people say it, is basically rehearsing for one show in the day and performing in another in the evening. It's intense for sure. It's intense for sure. I think you have no time to breathe.
No.
Time to squeeze a sandwich in. But that's basically it. You're basically doing 10 till half past 10. Yeah.
And it's, very difficult on the mind because you're learning new material in the day. Yeah. So, and really, you kind of want to be off book
as soon as
you possibly can. On top of that, you're in your current show and you're having to give 100% to that.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's probably one of the hardest times for a performer in an industry is when you're doubling up.
Yeah. Like, you feel so much gratitude because you're like, these are 2 amazing jobs that I love both so much. But your brain is really fried. It's working really hard to find the energy. Like at the end of like a hard rehearsal day, everyone will be like, bye, see you. I'm going to go straight to sleep. And I'd be like, I'm about to go to Angelica tonight. I can't believe it.
and not just any job, like literally Angelica in Hamilton.
Like it takes a lot of energy to play her.
I bet you felt like when you stopped doubling up, you thought, oh my God, I've got all the time in the world.
It did feel like that. It felt like breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
I've got some space and time.
At least now, like if that situation ever happens again, you've got it, girl.
Yeah. After that, I said I can do anything.
And now you are currently in Kiss Me Kate.
Yeah.
Are you loving it?
I love it so, so much.
Good.
We, like as a company, we are so tight. Like, we just love each other.
I noticed that because
Yeah.
you have a company manager called David Massey.
Yeah, Massey.
I've got to shout him out. He was my company manager on Back to the Future, and I watch his stories.
Yeah.
And do you have like Shot Saturday?
Yeah, every Saturday night after the show.
Yeah.
After the show, we have a little shot in the wings. And usually it's sponsored by someone in the company. So like it was Gary in our cast's wedding anniversary. So he had like his wedding tipple. We all had a shot of that.
Oh my gosh.
But
Personal.
like literally like we all are such good friends. I'm going to be so sad for it to finish.
I know. When is it finishing?
So we've got 4 more weeks.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was only a 15-week run.
Do you know what though? I'm loving that you're doing these short runs because you don't have any time to be like, oh God, get me out this.
There's just no time at all for that.
No.
Like obviously it's intense because it feels like I'm always auditioning.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Because if you do a long contract, you get to like chill out for a bit and like kind of come off the horse and just enjoy being in a gig. But from like day one of Kiss Me Kate, I've been auditioning.
But do you know what? Maybe subconsciously that is a really good thing.
Yeah.
Because if you get off the audition horse, it is
Really
so
hard to get
back
back
in.
It is.
You know what I mean?
I just like
Mentally.
learning the material, like auditions are intense. I
You
think
must
more
have-
intense than a rehearsal process.
Oh,
sometimes.
100%.
Yeah.
And I feel like your brain is probably the most healthiest it's been because
It's like elastic right now because I've just been like moving it. Yeah.
Like I said, it's the woman that never stops. Thank you so much. Love.
Thank you.